Okay, so I've automated some simulation stuff here on my computer just to kind of get through a bunch of analytics really quick. And I just kind of wanted to show this off because I think it's cool. If there's like interest in this, maybe, maybe I'll compile it and distribute it, or maybe I'll put it in Patreon and try and make a buck or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll edit that out. So the script goes through a pipeline and launches a bunch of other subscripts. So I'm just gonna walk through this as we go, okay? So I'm gonna run this. It goes and fetches the latest talents.json file, and we can pick which branch we want to pull that from. So I'm gonna pull it from XPTR. You didn't see that, so I'm gonna go back here, and you can see it downloads it from RaidBots really quick, saves it, and then launches another script, Talent Picker. Uh, it opens up a HTML, and this script is a dashboard that uh, pretty complicated, but but the gist is you can go into here and you can pick talents, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick enough talents so that our iterations are low. And don't mind me, I'm just gonna pick all the ones that I know don't suck completely. Oops. We can leave that. We want to take these. We want to get rid of nether munitions. Get rid of that. Keep these. And just to keep iterations low, I'm gonna grab that as well. And I think this is something like, there's 26 or something possible iterations after this point if I did everything right. And so what this does is this creates this little compiler output down here. And I'm just gonna grab this, copy. We're gonna go back here and okay, hey, it's asking us to enter our class name. The default here is mage, so that I can just hit enter because I'm lazy. Same for here, again, arcane, but this works for any class and spec. This whole pipeline is pretty much built to work for anyone. Um, so then it's gonna ask me for my pick talents. My pick talents are gonna be these green ones, and they're gonna be represented by this top row of entries. And then this bottom line is gonna be my skip talents. These are talents we're never gonna take in the iterations that we generate. So I'm just gonna paste in both of those rows. It's gonna prompt me like that, cool, and that enters the pick and the skip. And then I can just hit enter there. It's gonna ask me for hero talents. The way that I have devised this, won't enter in any hero talents. It won't change any hero talents. And then your default profile that you use will just take precedence. Um, so we should have nothing here. Cool. Copy, yep. And so if we wanted to compare some talents here, the way I've built it is if we wanted to just compare these Sun Fury nodes here, these four guys, right? Or these two choice nodes. We would want to deselect Spellslinger, and it's a little tedious right now. I'm working on it, but this is the preview, so you should expect that. um, and so again, we have two things, and this is to basically, extrapolate out any combinations of the spectator tree and then any combinations of the hero tree. So we'll just enter those in. Again, two rows, paste it in, pick, skip, boom. So we can go back here and we can see there's 116 expected profile sets out of that clay that are going to come out of this. And what's a profile set? Well, in mine, it's not actually a profile set, it's a copy. The reason I use copies is because you can pull out better data metrics from a copy than you can from a profile set. Um, and essentially what this is these are all the talent parameters that we have by gear set. So you can get a nice splaying out of everything in your data. So, talents generated, and now it's gear profile time. So what I've done is I have this gear input, and this is in the same Top Gear format from Raidbots. I tried to keep it that way so that I could test things really quickly. But also I don't really mind this format, so I'm going to keep it. Um, and so what this is going to do is this is going to take those 116 profiles and it's going to extrapolate those out across every one of these profile sets. So we're going to make a lot of builds here if we do this, right? 174. That isn't right. It replaced the hero talents. Okay, we've got to fix that. Okay. Just another thing that I have to fix. So I added in the hero talents recently, and now the gear input logic is looking it normally was looking for just spec talents. So I just need to set it so that it looks for hero talents as well. No big deal. That is an easy solution, I think. Anyways, so now that we've done that, it's going to generate gear builds to extrapolate across all of those spec builds. The reason why this number is so much lower is because we don't have those hero talent build variances, right? And that's what multiplied this by 4. And so if you divide that by 4, you'll get 29, and then, um, 29 times whatever many trinket extrapolations we have is why our number's lower or lower than we would expect it to be. And so that's going to break all of these out into chunks. What's a chunk? A chunk is a default profile that it's pulling from our primary, where is it? Primary APL file. Now I built this as essentially it's going to look for anything with this explore option, and these are going to be any copy after this point is going to be considered an actor, as well as any mage profile in here is going to be considered an actor, as well as any profile set. And so this is going to come in here, take a copy of this, and then depending on which chunk it's on, so you can see like Spellslinger single target, these are all a copy of this and then a bunch of those copies from our output file. Once it gets to the end of that, it's going to come into our Explore section and look for copies, and it's going to create new profiles for that. And it's going to apply our outputs to that one as well, right? So that's why we're always going to have an equal number. And after that's done, after our sims are done, you can see, you know, it's ways up here, but you can see our sims finished, all 36 chunks finished. Now I have a CSV reader. So what this is going to do is this is going to come in here, read a bunch of the data out of the HTML file that I want, and out of these generated HTML files, and it's going to put those into a CSV, right? And this contains all of the graphing information that I want to pull out for what the next step is going to be. So we're just going to let this run for a little bit. So you can see some of the the stuff I care about in here, right? We've got our chunk information, so I can troubleshoot. That's really for me. Our file information, again, that's for me to troubleshoot with. But we've got our build. This is either the Explore actor or our primary APL Mage actor. And this script is going to have to be tweaked a little bit for other classes. This is one of the few parts I have that's kind of locked in right now. And yeah, it grabs the talent string, and it grabs a bunch of damage metrics, and it grabs trinkets so that we have that and stats. Um, and then, it gives us a little debug report. Again, you can ignore that. Something I probably should strip out. Uh, but anyways, pipeline complete. A lot of the metrics are being stored, or not stored, but if you wanted to visualize them, this is where you would do that. Uh, so like you can see here, for example, I have this 3D graph, you know, hey, that's cool. And we can look at it through some different metrics here, right? And some of these are useful. Right now, I just did a bunch of single target sims. Um, so, we don't see, there's no difference between DPS and priority DPS. That's why if you look, our visualization's flat on one plane. And uh, yeah, so if we did like standard, we would see the normal scatter plotting, right? Where it's got a little bit of thickness to it, not completely flat. Uh, but yeah, so that's a good visualization tool to understand how variance affects builds. And it also, you can visualize the top builds pretty easily, and how different talent impacts or race impacts. Um, some of these metrics are auto applied. I haven't finished out the tooltip stuff yet. We can also switch this. Oh yeah, my drop downs are off center too. Look at that. It's hilarious. We can switch this to look at things like talent. So like if we wanted to look at, hey look, this is Lacite versus Aether Fragment. And now what I know is that this is also like Sun Fury builds, right? And this is the Spellslinger builds. If we were looking, right, and if we did like Codex and which one, Controlled Instincts, and we got rid of Aether and Lacite, boom, there's our Sun Fury and Spellslinger difference, right? Okay, so, oh, and then there's a bunch of filters here. You can filter on stuff. Yeah. They're all multi-select. You can like grab multiple builds or multiple talents that you want to grab, and all of this is adaptable to whatever class and spec you put in here. And if you click a node, you also get the talent string up here just for easy reference. Um, Part of me kind of want to make it so that these actually just read the HTML. I don't know. I'm new to this stuff, so be gentle. 2D charts are also super basic. Nothing nothing crazy here, right? Yeah, if you wanted to see diverted energy, that's an important graph. And then the heat map. This is pretty cool. This is like I had it throw in um what's it called? Talent versus talent synergy. So like you can look at various synergies. It's not super important for anything, but it is interesting, right? Like Magi Spark and Lay Drinker tend to be kind of the higher end of DPS, right? Um, and since those are non-mutually exclusive talents, or rather talents that you don't always have to get together, it's kind of good to know and understand that average synergy. I also have stats in here. They don't do anything because it's all the same gear set. The only thing we varied was trinkets for this gear set, and none of them had stats, I don't think. At least nothing that changes gear stat. Um, yeah. And then what else we got? We've got the last thing is if you run this one. Oh, I gotta turn off the dashboard. If you run this one, you can enter in any combination of target counts and get a weighted average, which I still haven't perfected, um, based on your damage, your priority damage, your variance factors, and um, and yeah, I think that's pretty cool, and it'll tell you like what the highest builds, uh, trinkets and talent string are. Thought. Anyways, people have been asking what I'm working on, and this is it. So, bye.